Alright, CBT lesson. Metallica 2x4, and this is just from 253 into the song into 430. It's the guitar solo, and then a little recap on a couple of the rhythm parts that are going on behind it. 5 pages. Trying to see how many subgroups we got here. I guess it don't matter. But everything's timestamped, and let's jump right into this. This first part of it, man, is pretty interesting how it's being played. It's a little deceiving to the mind, the way it's going down. You want to tune a half step flat for this, and this is from 253 to 3 minutes, the part that we're going over right now. It goes like this. That's actually part of it. Well, actually we're into subgroup number 2. So let's jump right into it. Start on the 5th fret A string. Some of them are hammers, some of them are bends, and it's kind of hard to tell. You really got to just zone in on the part. You got 5A hammering to 6. And if you listen close, even this first one, man, I listened to it a few times, and there's 2 7s. Actually, there's 3 7s following it, so it's like, so 5 hammer 6, 7 7, short rest, and then another 7. I think it's the only time it does that. The next one is 5 hammer 6, pick 7, another 7, and then the next one, there's like 3 different variations that are emulating the same sound. 5th fret A, whole step bend, and then pick 7A, pick it again. Then you're back to the hammer on 5A, hammer to 6, 7, and then you go to 5D, so it starts to change up a little bit here. Let's play it up to that point. And so here's where the change comes up. 7D, you want to back that with a couple fingers, bend, release, pull. And when it's in the middle, you kind of, you know, I get asked a lot, would you go down or would you go up? Kind of doesn't matter. I tend to go away from the next string that's coming up. So if I got to go up to the A string, I'll probably bend this down. So you'll go, and then pull off the 5, and then catch the 7A. So the other option would be, alright, then we're back to this kind of concept. 7, 5, whole step in, 7, 7, 5, whole step in, 7, 7, back to the 5. Here's one of the other variations here with the hammers. So 5, 6, hammer, pick the 7th fret twice, and then 5D. That actually ends the first subgroup from 253 to 3. So the second half, after you do the bend, release, pull off, you got the, here's what it is. And then subgroup 2 comes in next, and this is 2 minutes, no, wait a minute. This is 3 minutes 1 second to 3 minutes 4 seconds. Some of these are, I had to kind of get them smaller. I'm trying to find pause points and stuff, and sometimes I had to break it to the riff. So we're back to this 7th fret D, bend, release, pull off to 5. So you know, remember to back it with a couple fingers, and then 7D, you're gonna slide to 9. So whole step. There's a big transition here. So you're sliding to the 9. I would knuckle shift, like kind of flatten that down, but let it. Make sure that the 7D is no longer ringing when you go to the 9G. So, okay, and then 7G. So from that bend, release, pull off, the beginning of subgroup 2, you got this. And then we have 9G. Actually, we just kind of play out the rest of this subgroup. So it's 9 on the G, and then 9, 7. And bend that a whole step. So back to 9G, pick the 9G again, 7G whole step, back to 9G, and that ends subgroup 2. So subgroup 2 is this. Then subgroup 3, this is 305 to 309. It goes, oops. Now there's some tricks in here, man. You'll start with the 8th fret on the B string, your first finger. And these are just pentatonic riffs here. Then go 10B, whole step, bend reliefs, pull off to 8. So you may as well leave this index down because we got to go back to it, right? And then 9G. So I have a feeling you know that riff anyways. But here's where some trick stuff comes in. We'll go back to the 9G. We're already there. Hit it again. And then jump over to 7 on the G and go 7, 8, 9. Which is the first for them doing that. So it's basically, it looks like 4 different little concepts. 5 counting this next one you're going to learn. So you have, this one's pretty cool. You'll go, and then 9G, do the 7G, but only do it, it's like a quarter step bend, and then go 8, 9. Use those a lot in blues. So, and then 9, 7 whole step bend on the G, and then the 9G. That takes us to page 2. And this is subgroup 4, 3 minutes 10 seconds, up to 3:15. But it's only 4 things happening here. You're gonna go, it'll be 12G with the index, and then I believe you've done these, 14G and 15B. Back that G string up with a couple fingers, pick both the strings and bend only the G string a whole step. So you have then 12G and then 14G and B, no bend. So it's, pay close attention. A lot of times when people do these, you end up hearing a release coming down. There's no release. You actually stop it with this hand. So you have ended at the whole step spot, and then that ends subgroup 4. There's like an overdub that splices in right here on subgroup 5. Also, I didn't mention, on the CBT is actually for everybody now. I'm giving you a basic idea on the EQ for the amp. I should have said that at the beginning, dang it. And the basic effects that they're using. So I went lows 7, mids 7 to 8, highs 8 to 9, and the basic effects that are being used is a wah-wah pedal, phaser, delay, and reverb. And you'll see that on the front page of your tabs. Alright, so and the wah-wah actually kicks in right here, which is what reminded me. 311 to 316, you're going to go like this. It's using some octaves. I'm forgetting the rhythm though. That's what it's doing. Little tricky because typically octaves, it seems like, are played on strings 6 and 4 or strings 5 and 3. In this case, it is doing that, but it's also doing them on strings 4 and 2, and you got to skip an extra fret coming up. So, but at first we're on 13A, muted D, 15G. Doesn't really matter which finger your secondary one is, and so just make sure the D string is muted. So we got, go to 12, 14, 10, 12. And then here's where it might be a little trickier. 12D, 15B, muting the G string. Now the mute probably won't be the issue because the angle of this index finger, naturally it's going to want to kind of mute those. But you're going to hit strings 4 through 2, slide it a whole step to 14, 17. And then you're right back to the 13, 15 octave. You'll see some double dots around there. So you have... And then, oh yeah, next part. I did a lot of the double dots here for you. Saves time, makes it quicker, and it's just a shorthand way of doing this. You've got an octave on 8A, muted D, 10G. And what you want to do, I have your strum pattern is down, up, down, up, down, up. Or you can think triplets. You're kind of following the band here, and the drum roll and everything is with it. See, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's what's happening. Good idea because we're doing downs and ups to try and mute the low E string either with the tip or take the middle finger and just lightly set it there. I do both. So down, up, down, up, down, up times 3. Triple it, triple it. If you struggle with the rhythm in there, it's always a good idea to, you can accent the first triplet down strum a little harder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's some staccato stuff. You'll stay there, but go 1, 2, 3. Just make sure you rest really quick in between those. Try to land that pick right back on the A string. So that's. I also lift a little pressure doing that. All right, that's 317 to 320. So, and that was subgroup 6. Now it's subgroup 7, 321 to 333. This really drawn out bend. We did this earlier, just didn't draw it out as long. 14G and 15B, we picked both those strings, bend just the G a whole step, but hold it. I also can hear he's switching to the neck pickup here. As you're holding it, everything's still ringing, go string 2, 3, 2, rest, string 3, and then release it. So then go 12, 14, 12, G, D, G. And you're right in that pentatonic area. It's not like you got to jump around there. And then take your third finger bar, the 14th fret on the G and B. I would back it with a couple other bars with the middle and the index, because you're going to hit it twice. You definitely want to back it. You'll see why. You got to go. So you're bending it, holding it, releasing it. Pick it again and bend release without a rest. Do it again. Do it again, but go bend, release, bend, vibrato. That is tough. It's a lot harder than it sounds, man. You'll see, because that B string is going to want to slip out from underneath the finger when you're doing that. So we have just really dig into the neck as you're pushing, and make sure you're grabbing evenly on the G and the B. Because I'm thinking the problem, if you have in this, it's going to be that B string, like I said, it's going to want to slip out from underneath the bar. And if you use 2 fingers, then you got to worry about them not bending evenly. So this is the way to do it. Then subgroup 8 comes in. This is 334 to 336, and you'll go 14th fret. A lot of double stops in here, barred with the third finger. This part was really interesting sounding. 14 D and G, bar that with the third, back it with a couple. You're gonna need these couple to help bend it. Bend, release. Then go 12 D and G, 14 A, bar the 12th fret A and D. Then the 10th fret A and D. So you have this from that part. 12D, or no, I'm sorry, 12E, which is cool, you're right there. So let's do that again. Then go barred 10th fret A and D, and then same thing on the 12th fret, but use first, then third. Then grab that 12th fret again on the A and D and bend it a whole step. Definitely going to want to pull down on that. So let's play that riff. This was one of the more abstract out of the whole solo, I thought. Then we move to page 3. And this is subgroup 9, 337 to 339. And it's this. So your double stops again, 12 A and D, first finger, middle finger 13, same strings, and then third finger 14. So it's, then jump down to 12 G and B, quarter step bend it. Then third finger 14 D 3 times. 12 D, 14 12 A, and that's it for that subgroup. We move to subgroup 10. This is 340 to 345. These are played a little bit quicker. It goes. That's the first, up to the first rest there. So 15E, 12, 14A, 12D, 14A, 12D, rest. And you can see the pentatonic shape in there. Okay, 14A, third finger, slide to 12. 10A, and then 12, 14A. So it's, although there is more notes. 12, 14, 12 in the D. So, oops. Experiment with fingering, particularly in that part, because there's a few different options you can go with. Okay, then where do we live off here? Okay, oh, there's still more in this section. 12, 14 D, 12 G, barred with the index finger on G and B. Go 3 times. And the third time you ring it through. It's actually a half note, so it gets 2 counts and then a slide. It's actually more than a half note. And you'll see your slide marker. Subgroup 11, 346 to 349 is this. So you have, oops, lost it. That is 12D sliding to 14, the third finger. Short little rest in here. You'll hear it when you pull that up. Rest and then double stops on the 12th fret G and B, and then 14 G and B. Then 14 G and B, you're already there. Hit those 2, bend them, stop them, and then hit 14 again without bending. So that part will be. Don't let it release. Don't let it go. You know what I mean? So, and then bar the 12th fret G and B, go into 14 D. Then 12 G and B, barred, 14 G and B. Rest, bend, release, bar the 12s on the G and B, 14 D, and that ends that subgroup. Subgroup 12, from 360, no wait a minute, from 350 to 352, this is a little blues riff that he's doing. It goes 12 G, and then here's where the double dots will come into play. 4 of these. So you're sliding middle finger 14 to 16 on the G. Leave it there. See? Yeah, you'll do that 4 times. And then hit 16G, 15B. And they're ringing together. That's it for that page. We have page 4 to do and page 5. And I think we better put that, well, we can go a little further on this, I think. Okay, subgroup 13 at the top of page 4 is 353 to 355. 2-second part here, really, but you're going to go. Real cool blues riff. Yeah. 14G, whole step bend, third finger, and back it. 12G, 14D, 12G. So we have 15B, whole step bend, third finger, back it. 12B, 12G. So you have. Yeah. Make a loop out of it. Alright, that's the end of part 1. Part 2 coming up.